in the entire universe, and then he found it is true. Then only he declared it to the world. So, then he understood the third noble truth. What is that? Nibbana. That is that when you give up craving, you give up the dukkha, the samsaric dukkha. That is Nibbana. Then he tested it out similarly in three ways. First he saw it, then he tested it out and found that it is true for every individual. Giving up craving is the ending of suffering. There is no other way except that. Then the fourth noble truth. What is the fourth noble truth? Huh? The path, the Eightfold Path. And that also he thought, is this the... That though the Buddha understood, he again tested it out. And he found that for every individual there is no other path except the Eightfold Path. They have to go the Eightfold Path if they want to see the ending of suffering. There is no other way. So, the Four Noble Truths in three ways he tested out. That's called Dvadasakara. Dvadasa means 10 and 2, 12. Tiparivattan is in the three ways that the Buddha tested it. So we can understand how relevant it is in this modern scientific world. Buddha did not just understand something and then give it to the world. He first of all saw how true it was, and he was properly convinced before he said this. So now, there is the way. We don't have to look for a way. Way is out. The Buddha has found out the way. What we need to do is only to go the way. You don't have to discover, because it is already discovered. So what we have to do is follow the path. So it is up to you, each one of you, whether you want to see the ending of suffering, whether you want to take the path, whether you want to get rid of the dukkha, it is up to you. So, if you follow the path, definitely you get out of all the suffering. Now today, the Sabbasava Sutta, that is only an introduction. The Sabbasava Sutta talks about how did we come to have so many defilements. How did this first start? So, ignorance and this fermentation. Fermentation means in ignorance, people think, and then over so many millions and trillions of lives, they have been fermenting the same thing, and they have come. All, even now, even this life, we have started life with this wrong view and wrong asava. Asava means we have brought it into this world also, even as a baby. So we are having the defilements in us, which we must recognize and try to get rid of. So that is the way we can put an end to all our pain and suffering. So, up to you whether you follow the path or not. If you follow only, you will get to the ending of suffering. If you don't follow the path, you will never. And it is a chance lost, because very rarely that we get a human rebirth, and very rare for us to listen to this Dhamma and understand the path, and it is very rare for this opportunity to walk the path. Either you take it or you lose it. That's what we have been doing life after life. So, you have come to the highest pedestal in life, isn't it? Now we have no other way. Now it's a dead end after that. What can you do? And now, are you going to stop at that or follow the path? Say, huh? Follow the path. Now you have had all the best of life. You can't go any higher. Now it is a kind of breaking down. Then now the end of it will be there. So before you finish and end up your life, it is for you to take this path. If you take it, it is for your own good. If you don't take it, it's yours. You can go all over again and again. Life after life, this keeps on going. This fermentation, this mental defilements which we are born with, if we don't recognize and you don't get rid of, then you live with it and suffer with it. Now also you suffer with it. And then you take it again and you go to the next birth with all the defilements you are going there, and again you will go through the whole thing. So, if you can, you must try to understand how we can stop this birth, death, birth, death. It's a cyclic order. So, if you are born, you are sure to die. There is no mistake about it. Then a lot of people think when you die, finish. No rebirth. Even though they think like that, it doesn't happen. People have opinions which are not true. So a lot of people think we don't care. After we die, it's not we, somebody else. Even now it is not we, but we think it's we. Even now it is me. Then you get another birth, again you think it is me. Isn't it? Then again you start all over again. Me, I and mine. Now another little thing I want to say before I start. This me, I and mine, is it a legal convention, or is it something that you own? Me, I and mine. Is it an ownership which you have inherited or brought? Or is it some ownership that has been imposed upon you from the outside? Me, I and mine. Mine? Is it a sammuti? Sammuti means a convention. People believe that there is a registration. There's a marriage registration, yeah, my wife, on a piece of paper. And does that mean that the wife belongs to you? Yeah. On a piece of paper, if you are not registered, then you are illegal. Then that doesn't belong. So this registration is the thing that makes it yours, isn't it? That is the conventional truth. The Buddha said that's only a conventional, man-made truth. That's not the absolute truth. When you are born, you have birth registration. Otherwise, how on earth are you going to know who your parents are? Did you know who your parents are? When you came, did you know to where you are going to be born? It's this registration. isn't it? So, does that give you total ownership, or is it about just a convention? Huh? Your house has to be registered, if not, the house doesn't, your poor, whatever it is, what do you call it, the deed must be registered, if not it doesn't belong. Your car must be registered, if not it doesn't belong, isn't it? Now, does ownership depend on registration, or does ownership become me, I and mine? Where is this me? Where is this I and where is this mine? Does the body belong? Body is what the parents gave, isn't it? The doctors are there, so they will support me. That's their genetics or whatever it is, the genes, the parents have given the body. And then we have taken so much of food, water, heat, and air from the outside, the moment you are born. How many tons of food have you eaten? From where? From the earth. How many tons or gallons of water have you drunk? All from the earth, from the rivers. And then how much of air, morning, noon and night you are breathing. Huh? Even in your sleep you are breathing, isn't it? So, does the air belong to you? No. Yeah, they can understand. Does the water belong to you? No, it belongs to a river. Does the food belong to you, or is it something coming from the earth? Huh? It's true, we give money, but then this food comes from the earth. Have we brought the food into this world? No. Have we brought air into this world? No. Have we brought water into this world? No. Have we brought the heat into this world, the sun, moon and stars? No. So now we have to depend on the outside for our sustenance. So is the body me? The doctors will say that every atom of this body belongs to the environment. Is that right? No? No. Every atom of this body belongs to the environment. Taken so much carbon, oxygen, carbohydrate, something eaten, so many tons of food, they have made your bones and your flesh and body and blood and everything has come from the outside. Then you call it my body. Does the body belong? Huh? No, we didn't bring the body. When we die, do we take it? No, we just leave it and go. We didn't bring the body, it's a gift from the parents. We don't take it when you die. And none of it belongs to you. So where is this ownership? Is it an absolute ownership? Or is it only a conventional ownership? Huh? Huh? Convention, sammuti. Legal convention, language convention also. Yours, ours, his, hers, theirs, ours, and then we think it is ours. It's only a language convention, just distinguish one from the other. So, but we think, my wife, my husband, he must behave the way I want. My child must behave the way I want. Does that work? No, it doesn't work. That is the bare truth. Even the body doesn't behave the way I want. Much against my wish and pleasure, will and pleasure, I began 90 years. Now I can't hear, now I can't see. Anyway, what to do? I can't stop it. And then much against my wish and will, I'll have to die, whether I like it or not. Now, is it my body? Is it working the way I want? Hmm? No. Does the wife work the way you want? Does the husband? Does the child? Nothing belongs. So once you understand that nothing belongs, is me, I and mine, becomes a myth. That is the absolute reality that the Buddha understood. But we think me, I and mine, isn't it? Neither. BMW එක රෙජිස්ටර් කරේ නැත්නම් ආයිසිල් nothing belongs. You must have all those legal aspects and then that one. And if you don't want to scratch it and then say, this doesn't mean it's not my husband, it's not my wife. Easy only to scratch it. I Karadas you can reality. Now understand that nothing belongs, not even the body. Once you understand that, will you be having so much defilements such as me, I and mine? What happens to your pride and ego and selfishness and me and I and tanha and greed and hatred and everything? What happens? They belong. It's just foolish, ignorant imagination. අන්න එක තමයි අවිද්‍යාව කිව්වේ. Vidya is scientific, avidya is unscientific. That Buddha is the one who first said avidya. This vidya is science. Avidya is unscientific. So Buddha said ignorance, avidya. People are so foolish to believe that the body is mine, the child is mine, the wife is mine, this and that. But then they forget that there must be locks to the cars, there must be security, there must be so many things. Even with the registration, they can take away your car. No? Even with the registration, your wife can run away, the husband can run away, he can have many other wives. Where is the registration? Yesterday I had a very big, interesting place. I had to go at Sarvodhi. They had pregnant girls, all 12 years, 13 years, less than 15. About 20 or 30 of them. Some of them have given birth to babies, they brought their babies and they were sitting and listening. Others were having 13 years and having big, they are pregnant. So I was thinking, my goodness, what ignorance. And that man, whoever put her into trouble, is free. That's the law of the land. He's there for 2 weeks in custody. After that, he's let off. But this girl has to undergo this penalty. She cut off. She's from the from the probation. She had no contact with the parents, no contact with the man, and she's all by herself, not knowing what to do with the baby. I don't know how they don't know how to nurse a baby. Some of them were there. So now it was so pathetic. So this ignorance is plus, isn't it? We must realize that ignorance is something very, very dangerous. Because if you don't know, you are making 2 mistakes. One is ignorance, not knowing the law. Other one is getting into trouble. You can't go before the law and say, I didn't know the law. Then you get punished twice. For not knowing the law and for doing the wrong thing, you will get punished twice. So ignorance is something which we must understand that all of us have. The opposite is wisdom. If you have ignorance, you always create greed and hatred. If you have wisdom, you create non-greed, non-hate. Huh? So that is the way the Buddha showed. So better to have wisdom at least for a start. Then once you know nothing belongs, you know how to not to demand, you know how to be kind and generous to others, you know how to practice loving kindness. So once you have a beginning like that, then you can follow up the path. So, first thing is to understand this ignorance. Trying to believe that everything is me, I and mine. It's just pride. It's ignorance. It's ego. Me, I, mine, selfishness. Selfishness with a vengeance. I want to have it the way I want. Nobody should come and disturb my pleasure. It's my life. I have every right. I have a legal document. So it is my right to do it. So all that is sheer ignorance. They can never practice metta and loving kindness. No. They are absolutely selfish. So once we understand that, we can make a little start by giving up this. How does anger rise in the mind? How does greed arise in the mind? Either by seeing. If you see something nice, you become greedy. If you hear something nice, you become greedy. You want more good things. If you smell, then also you want more good things. No? You want more good things to see, good things to hear, good things to smell, good things to taste, good things for the bodily touch, and good things to think about. Isn't it? You want, isn't it? You don't want bad things? No. Do you want good things or bad things? How many good things do you want? 100,000? No, not enough. Until you die, you want good things. Now, what are you building up for good things? Craving, wanting, me, I, mine. So from morning till now, what is our meditation? Looking for good things and creating this craving for good things. Then if you don't get it, then anger and hatred. These are the two things. Priya, apriya. Whatever is good is also getting you into trouble because you have got craving. If it is apriya, you get anger anyway. So these are the two great emotions which we have inherited from times immemorial. So are you going to live with it or are you going to give it up? Another question. If you want to live with it, then you have to suffer it. No? Not only you. Your wife has to suffer, your husband has to suffer, your children have to suffer, the society will have to suffer, the entire mankind, humankind, the earth will have to suffer. So the sooner we know the truth, we learn how not to look for greed, hatred and ignorance, but non-greed, non-hate and wisdom. Now is the question. Non-greed, non-hate and wisdom. How to develop non-greed, non-hate and wisdom? They say, how can you do that? You have to become Arahant. Yeah. not 12, non-greed, non-hate and wisdom. You have to become an arahant, no? Can you become an arahant with the greed? I'm asking a simple question. Do you give up greed, hatred and ignorance and then become arahant? Or do you become arahant and then give up greed, hatred and ignorance? Did you understand that? Huh? What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Are you going to become arahant without giving up greed, hatred and ignorance? Or are you going to give up greed and hatred and ignorance and then become an arahant? No. So, then we have better start now giving up greed, hatred and ignorance. No? So we have been talking about these things, but because it's a new crowd, I am just repeating a little bit. So, for a start, we will do some metta bhavana, because that's the only way we can give up greed and hatred. Greed and hatred, you can't give up. So, but if you practice metta bhavana, there is a chance that you can give up greed and hatred both, because they are both in ignorance. Then metta has a certain amount of wisdom, not the entire, but certain amount of wisdom that it takes you halfway. So we will practice a little metta bhavana. It's a little stanza which I have taken from the Karaniya Metta Sutta. ඔක්කොම කියන්න. උද්දං අදුච තිරියංච අසම්බා අවේර අසපත් සබ්බේ සත්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතා. This is the word of the Buddha, so so you can rely on it 100%. Uddhang adocha tiriyam asambada avera asapata sabbe satta bhavantu sukhita. Uddhang adocha tiriyam asambada avera asapata sabbe satta bhavantu sukhita. That means above you, the entire universe, bhavagre dakka, the entire universe above you, Uddha. Adho means the entire universe below you. Tiryancha is across. So you are in the middle. There is the universe above, below and across. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. What does that mean? Siyalu sattaya suapat vetta. Sabbe satta bhavantu. This is the method. This is how the Buddha, this is the kindergarten level. If you don't do that, you can't go anywhere higher than that. So, first you start giving loving kindness to the entire universe, all living beings. Uddhang adocha tiriyanta asambada averang asapata sabbe satta bhavantu sukhita. Now what is asambadam, averang, asapattam? What? Asambadam? Jan? Doctor? කරදරයක් නොවේවා, සම්බාධයක් නොවේවා, ආබාධයක් නොවේවා, අබැද්දයක් නොවේවා. අනුන්ට මේ විශ් කරන්නේ. අවේර වෛරයක් නොවේවා, තරාවක් නොවේවා. අසපත්තා, I'm going to ask again, then you must tell me. අසපත්තා, හතුරුකමක් නොවේවා. Very simple formula. Uddang, above, below and across. May all living beings be well and happy. Free from pain and suffering, free from anger and hatred, free from enmity. May all living beings be well and happy. Now I am asking you a question. The Buddha says to practice this morning, noon and night. Tittan, charan, nishinova, sayanova. Tittan means standing, charan while walking, nishinova while seated, sayanova while lying down. Yavata srigata middo. Until you fall asleep. Etan satying adittaya. This Maitri Satya Adhisthana Karana. Do this metta bhavana, that's the only way you can get rid of this whole problem of defilements of me, I and mine, and this anger and hatred and this craving, and everything comes to an end. It gets suppressed. For a start, it's only a suppression. But such a person can take the next step. As it is, we are so full of defilements, we can't go one step further. So we will start with the Maitri Bhavana. Now I'm going to say it, we are going to say it 3 times loud. After that, without saying it, speaking, you have to think. Then only it becomes a meditation. Kyan? Uddang aducca tiriyan asambadang avirang asapat sabbe satta bhavantu sukhita. Again. Uddang aducca tiriyan asambadang avera asapatta sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Again. Uddang adu tiriyant asambada avera asapatta sabbe satta bhavantu sukhita. Now sit tightly, sit straight, with your back straight. Try to say it in your mind without speaking. Back straight and discipline with a capital D. So this is important for you. Uddang aducca tiriyam asambadang avera asapatta sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Sadhu Kyana. Now with the meaning you have to practice this day and night until all the defilements are suppressed. No more anger, no more hatred, no more me, I and mine, nothing belongs. That is the fundamental beginning to this journey of this Eightfold Path. And also This is only a mental. People don't understand your mind. But there should be metta, vachi karma and kaya karma. This is only the mano karma. Mano karma is it's only a mental practice. Other people can't understand. But if there is mental, verbal and physical metta, then people can understand. If your speech is metta, people can understand. If your action is metta, then people can understand. So if you have metta in only as a meditation, other people, it's not a social dimension. Others don't understand. So you have to have metta, vachi karma and kaya karma, which is directly the eightfold path, samma vacha, samma kammanta. Metta, vachi karma is samma vacha, metta kaya karma is samma kammanta. Metta mano karma is samma sankalpa. These three factors belong to the eightfold path. So if you practice this is the preliminary beginning for life to start the journey on the eightfold path. So not only must you practice it as a mental pastime, but also you have to speak metta and do metta physically. That is the opposite of anger and hatred. That is the opposite of greed and hatred. Just the opposite. So the more you practice loving kindness in thinking, in speech and action, the more you are on a very stable position to proceed. So this meditation we have to do. That's the beginning. Then only you realize the sammaditthi, that nothing belongs. Sooner or later you have to give up, isn't it? I'm of course now getting very close to giving up. I don't know why I am not still living. But you give up your degrees, you give up your status, you give up your bank balance, you give up your ownership, all the beautiful things, the house and family and children and all of what you thought was mine, me, I and mine, you just have to write off. Isn't it? And you start all over again without anything, not knowing where you are going. And start all over again just because the parents are good enough to give you life and living. Then you start another family. Different parents, different country, different, everything different. And start all over again, another new life. Different family, different wife, different husband. Huh? Then again you collect all the rubbish and then what? You leave it and go. And then go empty-handed. Now I'm asking a question. What did you bring into this world? What are you taking from the world? What did you bring into this world? Kyan? Huh? What are you taking from the world when you die? Huh? Now you can say, we brought into the world greed, hatred and ignorance. And we are taking also greed, hatred and ignorance. Isn't that? If you don't know, you will be taking greed, hatred and ignorance and starting another new life. Isn't it? So we put a stop to it now. Now we are having non-greed, non-hate and wisdom. That's what we are cultivating. When you cultivate non-greed, non-hate and wisdom, you will be taking non-hate, non-greed and wisdom. Huh? Isn't that better? Yeah, you can understand. Better. So we start practicing. Okay? I wanted to tell you the Sabbasava Sutta, which is light. I can't see. The Buddha says, Janato passato, asvanam kayam vadami. Buddha says this, getting rid of asava, or this fermentation, or this. Asava really means the defilements. Getting rid of defilements, janato passato. I can only teach it to people who know it and see it. Janato is to know it, passato is to see it. If you don't know and if you don't see, then you cannot be corrected. You don't know you have defilements, you don't see you have defilements, then you can never. So the Buddha says, Janato passato asavanam kayam vadami. Only to those that can see and only to those that know can they understand this Dhamma. So, first of all, we have to realize that we have these defilements in our mind and that the only way is for you to know it and see it. Yes. Now I'll give a small example. Supposing there are some, thank you, not so much. I only want to see. Supposing you don't know that under your bed there are some, what can I say? Naipolongu, Sattu, some poisonous, some animals maybe say, they are all coiled up and they are hiding under your bed. If you don't see it and if you don't know it, can you get rid of them? They will sting you here and there, but you don't know they are staying under your bed. If you know, then you make an effort to get rid of them. How is that? Just like that. In our minds, these are hiding. Now at this moment, do you have greed? No. Do you have hatred? No. Do you have ignorance? No. We are just quite willing to listen. But they are underground. If you don't know it and if you don't see it, you will never be able to get rid of it. No. And that's why the Buddha says, Janato passato, to those who know and those who see only can get rid of these. If you don't know and you don't see, then you live with them. Okay? So they have the chance to attack you anytime. Anytime the pride will attack you. Anytime the anger will attack you. Anytime the fear psychosis. Anytime the craving. Anytime the jealousy. All these are hiding underground. But they surface only when there is some outside element that provokes and then they come up. Just like have you seen the cobra inside the wicker basket? Yes. Now once he is sleeping inside the wicker basket, he has no venom. He is a sleeping cobra. But you tap him and suddenly he brings up his hood. No? Then he has venom in the hood. But still he is not dangerous. But if you hurt him some more, he will attack. So now just like that, we have underground venom. Somebody will hurt you, then it comes up. Then third stage is you strike with your speech and action. No? So there are three ways that the cobra is working. Sleeping cobra is quite innocent. But when he has venom in his hood, then he is dangerous. Then any more and then he strikes. Atimpanot gano, katinut gano. They attack. So, just like that, we must understand that we have these defilements, and then anytime they can surface, and anytime they can take charge of you and you become a victim to your own mind. Your own mind is giving you pain and suffering. Is it the world that is giving you pain and suffering, or your own mind? Provokes from the outside, okay. They provoke. But because you have greed, hatred and ignorance, you can be provoked. If you have no greed, hatred and ignorance, how can you be provoked? So again, the fault is yours. People can provoke you, yes, because it is there. If it is not there, no one can provoke you. රාතන් වහන්සේට කොච්චර ගැහුවත් බැරුව රාතන් වහන්සේට තරහ යන්නෙත් නේ. තණ්හාව ඇති වෙන්නෙත් නේ, මොකවත් නෑ. Why? That underground venom is not there. So the idea here is to change this way of thinking. How to get rid of this underground හැංගිලා ඉන්නවනේ මේගොල්ලන්නේ. තරහවත් හැංගිලා ඉන්නවා. නේ? Greed, hatred and ignorance are under the bed, you don't know them. So the Buddha said, this is for those who see it and know it. If you see it and know it, then you can take charge of it. Then you can get rid of it. ඉතින් මේකේ හරි ගොඩක් තියෙන how to tell. There are so many ways. Dassana pahatabba, Sangvara pahatabba, Patisevana pahatabba, Adivasana pahatabba, Parivajjana pahatabba, Vinodana pahatabba, Bhavana pahatabba. Then hat vidyak තියෙනවා. There are 7 ways you can practice to get rid of all your underground defilements. The first is Dassana pahatabba. දස්සනයෙන් කියන්නේ බණ අහලා පළවෙනි සෝවාන් ආදී මාර්ග ඵලයට ගියොත් විතරයි ඒක you can become get rid of some of the defilements, not all of it. So dassana pahatabba means you must listen to the Dhamma, you must practice the Dhamma, then you must make an effort to understand it, and then give it priority, and in daily living practice it, not only thinking metta, but speaking metta, doing metta, going out of the way to be helpful to others. So when you practice that, the first stage of sainthood you get, that is called Dassana pahatabba. So, if you are a Sotapatti, some of the defilements you can get rid of. So, that is not difficult if you take the trouble to do it. If you don't take the trouble, then you won't get it. Then, if you want to get through a degree, you have to take trouble, isn't it? You can't just get through a degree. So like that, you have to take a certain amount of trouble to practice this loving kindness meditation. Very easy to do. Shall we remind ourselves in loving kindness again? Uttang adocha tiriya asambada avera asapat sabbe satta bhavantu sukhita uddannado diviyanta asambhata avera asapat sabbe satta bhavantu sukhita. If you practice this meditation, you can surely get up to the first stage of sainthood Sotapatti, and also you must have the intelligence to understand that nothing belongs and that we are at the mercy of the outside world. If there is no water, you die. If there is no food, you die. If there is no heat, you die. Too much heat, you will be burned to death. Not enough heat, you will be frozen dead. Then if you have no air to breathe, you will die. So you are entirely dependent on the outside and nothing belongs. You have not brought them here, you are not taking them here. And don't ever believe that this is me, I and mine. That is the first Samma Ditti that you must develop. Once you understand none of these things belong, will you be craving and fighting and going and asking? Or you give up, no? If it is yours, you take it. And finish the problem. Isn't it? Yeah. So that is how you have to start life. Huh? Then that is Dassana Pahatabba. Soon you will become a Sotapatti, that is the first stage of sainthood. If you can practice this in daily living. If you don't practice, you won't get it. Then, next one is Samvara Pahatabba. Samvara kyan? Asangvara, Sangvara. Huh? Huh? Controlled in the senses. How many senses do you have? Kyan? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, taste, body and mind. Sight, sound, smell, taste, bodily touch and thinking. Thinking of the past, thinking of the future, thinking. These are the 6 senses, and these senses always bring all kinds of outside stuff into your mind. Sights, sounds, smells, taste, bodily touch, and also thinking all the miserable things in the world. Things of the outside, things of the past, things of the future, thinking of that and this and everything. So now, from morning till night, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? Either you are looking and seeing, or hearing, or smelling, or tasting, or touching, or else thinking of all the rubbish under the sun. Isn't that your preoccupation? Now we are going to stop the preoccupation and start the metta bhavana. So Sangvara Pahatabba, to be controlled in the senses. Just because the eye is there, don't think you can go and see everything. Don't go to see. Just because the ear is there, don't listen to all the rubbish. Just because the nose is there, don't smell all the outside things. Sangvara means control. Only what you want and not what you don't want. Just because the tongue is there, don't try all the restaurants in the world for taste. Isn't it? Controlled in the senses. Just because the body is there and touch Don't try all the men and the women and sexual and sensual touch and get into trouble. Just because the touch sensation is there, don't become a victim. Like those poor girls who I met yesterday. Just these senses are not for you to abuse, but to use them judiciously to your advantage. So if you overuse or you use them wrongly, you destroy yourself and destroy others. So, controlled in the senses. How many senses? 6. Very good. Can you tell me the 6 senses? Eye, nose, ear, sight, sound, smell, taste, all these things are bugging us all the time, isn't it? And you think they are yours, and then you go and get into trouble. Don't see unnecessary things. Don't hear unnecessary things. Don't smell unnecessary things. Don't taste unnecessary things. Don't touch, bodily touch unnecessary things. And don't think unnecessary rubbish. That is what you mean by controlled in the senses. Now, if you don't practice that in daily living, nobody can help you. You have to do it. Can the Buddha do it for you? Can your husband do it for you? Can your wife do it for you? You just have to do it all by yourself. Be controlled in the senses. Just because the eye is there, don't see. Just because the ear is there, don't go and listen. All the rubbish, there is so much rubbish in the world, of no use to anybody. And then, that is to be controlled in the senses. Then, Patisevana. Patisevana pahatabba. Patisevana is pamana janin. That is, know your limits again, it's the same. Patisevana is, pamana janin means again the same control. In the Sivapasya can Jivara, Pindapata, Senasana, Gilana, Pratya. So that is for monks. Jivara means in the clothes, in the selection of clothes. Be very mindful. Don't overdress, don't underdress, just dress in the proper way. Pindapata is food. Don't overeat, don't undereat, eat only what is relevant, good and useful. Senasana is house. No harm having a beautiful house because you can always share it with others. No harm having a nice BMW or he has a Alfa Romeo. Never mind if you have even 10 cars, we'll also be able to borrow it and then go somewhere. No? So, it's never mind having a lot of money if you can share it with others. Never mind if you have children, but you know not to be greedy about them or angry about them. So, idea is how to use the requisites. Jivara, Pindapata, Senasana, Gilana, Pratya is medicine. You must use the medicine. The Buddha has said, if you are sick, you use it. As far as such things are necessary. Because the body can't exist without that. So you have to be very controlled in your dress, in your food, in your house, and in your medicine. Those are the, be then only එකට කිව්වා පටිසේවනා. Use your requisites wisely. Don't overdo, don't underdo. Okay? Then adivasana patisevana. Adivasana කියන්නේ ඉවසීම. ඉවසීම කියන්නේ when the world is bad, then you keep quiet. Can you look and when somebody is scolding you, can you just watch? ඉවසන්න පුළුවන්ද? When somebody is trying to beat you, can you just watch? No. That's the thing. It's a difficult thing, but you have to do it. If you are in the same house, under the same roof, you have to tolerate your husband and you have to tolerate your wife. What to do? You can't run away. If you have a cancer, you have to tolerate. Can you run away from the cancer? There are times when you have to tolerate other people. So, ivasima, that's also important. That is, when people are bad, you don't retaliate. Let them be bad. I'm not bad. You can say like that, no? If others are bad, we don't care. I'm not bad. Others are dirty. You are not dirty. Others are angry. I'm not angry. Others are proud. I'm not proud. What do I care about the world? So you are only caring, you have only control about your own mind and body. Don't worry about the world. World is bad anyway, isn't it? It was bad from the beginning of the history. It will be now, and it will be worse the time to come. Just because the world is bad, it's okay. We are not bad. That's how we have to argue. Huh? So the children are quarreling, but I'm not quarreling. What do I care? They get into trouble. No? When they are fighting, you don't fight. You just keep quiet. No? You must learn the art. When others are angry, you must look and wait. And they are being how foolish they are. They are so angry and they behave so bad. They are throwing things and shouting and speaking all kinds of miserable things. You should be able to watch that and not react. Can you? Can you do that? If you practice that, then that is metta in real action. So that is ivasima. Huh? That. Now how many things have I said? First, dassana pahatabba sotapatyanga, sangvara pahatabba, being controlled in the senses, patisevana pahatabba, that is to use your requisites in an appropriate way. Then adivasana pahatabba, that is to tolerate other people. Huh? When they are bad, you are not bad. That is just, people are bad, that's true. So what can you do? They are bad, but I am not bad. They are angry, I am not angry. They are taking revenge, I am not taking revenge. They are foolish, I am not foolish. So you have to look after yourself. That is adivasana. Then parivajjana. වර්ජනය කරන්නත් කියලා තියෙනවා. වර්ජනය කරනවා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Avoid. If they are extremely bad, then නයිපොලොංගු පිස්සු බලවම avoid කරන්න ඕනේ නේද? You don't go and challenge them. No? So there are circumstances when nothing works, when you have to give up. Even that is recommended. Because the situation cannot be rectified. Then you have to give up. ඒකයි කියන්නේ පරිවර්ජන පහතබ්බ. Vinodana pahatabba. That really means Vinodana, and as soon as you find anger and hatred in your mind, see it and get rid of it. When you see this is my greed, get rid of it. When you see this is my pride and ego, get rid of it. If you don't see it and you don't know it, then you live with it. You live with the snakes and serpents underground, under the bed. That's what you are doing. But if you see it, you get rid of it. Now I'm angry. Now I'm proud. This is my pride that is hurting me. It is my anger that is hurting me. It is my craving that is hurting me. It is my own defilement that is hurting me. You see, the world are your defilements. The world can't hurt you. Only your defilements can hurt you. What can the world do if you don't get upset? The world has to give up, no? So, this is a self-purifying process. This is not to purify the others. This is not to purify the husband or the wife, but to purify yourself. Nobody can do that for you. You have to do it yourself. That is what the Buddha means. So, that is Vinodana pahatabba. Then the last one is Bhavana pahatabba. By meditation also, you can suppress and get rid of defilements. If you don't do any of these things, you live with them. You live with the snakes and serpents under the bed who will come and sting you all the time. No? Who are the snakes and cobras under the bed? Greed, hatred, selfishness, me, I, mine, ego, what else? Fear, doubt, jealousy, all those things are underground snakes. If you don't see them, you can't get rid of them. This is for those who see and know and recognize, they can get rid of. So, you have to understand, it is my greed that is hurting me, it is my pride that is hurting me, it is my anger that is hurting me. Not that person's anger, your own anger is hurting you. No? So I think we have finished now.